Hey guys, welcome back to the Laid Back Homestead. I'm Crystal, and today I wanted to do a hydroponic update. I feel that when I do my complete garden tours, I really don't talk a lot about the varieties that I'm growing in here. It is all peppers at this point, but I have several different varieties in here, and I want to talk about the varieties that have worked out real well and maybe some of the ones that haven't worked out real well. Not only are we going to talk about varieties, we also need to get in here and do some serious pruning because some things are taking over. So taking a step back, in my first bucket, well, I guess I should start with, this is my water reservoir, 27 gallons, and it feeds these 10 Dutch bucket system that I have right here. And I typically have 2 plants per bucket. This bucket right here on the end was planted out last compared to the other buckets in this system. So they are just now starting to set fruit. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. But in here I have a MG Leopold, which I am growing in the ground in other places. So this is almost redundant. I really didn't need him here because he's done well in the ground and in containers. So he really didn't need a spot in my hydroponics, but I didn't know at the time. And then I also have my sweet moruga. This one I did not get any fruit off of as of yet. Again, it was planted out late, but I'm excited because I did see we had some fruit on here. There it is. Took me a while to find it, but my sweet morugas are finally coming on. Let me see if y'all can get in there. Moving on to my second bucket in the system, we have some Keystone resistant bell peppers. Now, these have not produced as much as some of the other bell pepper varieties. It's starting to set some fruit now. I'll see how big they get with the heat, if they turn red prematurely, but hopefully I'll get a little bit of harvest. And next to him in this same bucket is a giant Antigua. And the giant Antigua, again, it did okay in here. It also did really well, in fact, maybe even better in my raised beds, my self-watering beds. So I think moving forward, the giant Antigua I will leave for growing in beds. In my third bucket, and this is where it starts to get a little hairy, I have a Jimmy Nardello plant and a Serrano plant. I'm not getting super big fruits off of the Jimmy Nardello at this point. Hopefully that will change. I've grown him before and he, in my opinion, did better. This one's not bad, actually. I am going to come out and harvest too. I know y'all are seeing a lot of this fruit and probably going, why is she not picking it? But I am going to come out when we start chopping back. So as far as the Serranos go, I'm just now seeing fruit on them too. So that's a little bit disappointing. I would have expected a little bit better. Both Serrano and Jimmy Nardellos I have found have grown better in the ground. Now my fourth bucket over here has the Italian pepperoncini, which is this, and dragon's toe, which I did harvest a few dragon's toe off of here, but neither one of them did exceptionally well in the hydroponic system. The pepperoncinis are setting fruit, but they do not get big, as you can see, before they ripen. And I just thought they were supposed to get bigger. If anyone's grown that variety, I mean, am I wrong? Aren't they supposed to be bigger? I do have dragon toes coming on in here in a few different spots. As you can see, the plants have kind of like crisscrossed over each other. That's partly why I say pruning this back is a must. But looking at one of my in-soil pots, I mean, my dragon toes, I've gotten a bunch of nice-sized dragon toes off of here, and he's still producing well into the heat. So I'm not really sure if dragon toe warrants a spot in my hydroponic system. In my next bucket, I have, see if we can get you in there. a Big Bertha and a poblano pepper. I have harvested a few poblanos. This particular one didn't get that big. So I haven't really gotten any Big Berthas off of here. I don't really know how many Big Berthas I've gotten at all this season. So that may be a variety. I try again in the fall, and if it's still a no-go, then I scrap it. Moving along to my next bucket. This is a chili de arbol, just a nice chili pepper is what I have it marked. And then I have a Mad Hatter in here. And the Mad Hatter, I have gotten more fruit than I even know what to do with. I mean, there's fruit everywhere. And the problem I'm having is he is taking over. There's no stopping him. He is just taking over. And so what I'm hoping is if I come in here and do a really hard prune back on him, because I don't really need this many hot peppers. I've already harvested a ton. He grows well in the ground as well, or in a bucket. So, you know, if you need a lot of hot peppers, he's your boy for sure. I mean, there's just so much fruit on here. But I'd like to get more sweet peppers moving into fall. So I'm thinking about cutting back some of my hotter ones and replanting out different varieties or varieties that have performed successfully. Speaking of successful sweet peppers, I have the Red Impact and a Red X hybrid, I believe, in this next bucket. Now you can still see my Mad Hatters growing in here like crazy, but I am getting some nice size sweet peppers off of these two. And right now they are looking like big winners when it comes to my hydroponic system, because I've already harvested off of them too. This is not the only fruit set that I've gotten this year. And even with us getting stupid hot right now, they're still producing really big peppers. So I'm definitely thinking those two varieties will be planted out in abundance in my fall garden. In my second to last, I have an Emerald Giant plant and a Red Knight. And I do have some fruits coming on here now. They're not getting super big. I would hope for slightly bigger fruits, but again, that could have something to do with the temperatures, because most of my bell peppers in my ground aren't producing at all. These I think I will plant outside again for a fall planting. And lastly, we lead to my failure. Again, you can see the Mad Hatter all the way from over there, all the way across. Yeah, he's got to get cut back. But I had planted out my Tabasco transplant in here, and immediately the next day, something came out and topped it. And so I thought, okay, it's a lost cause. Then I got so excited, I started to see new growth coming out of it. And then yesterday I came out and noticed something topped it again. So this is an empty bucket. I'm going to be starting seeds soon to figure out what I want to put in there. So that was a whole tour of all of 18 at this point plants that I have in here. And now we're going to get to harvesting and to trimming. I have pulled the plug on my DWC buckets. I am not currently watering these. I want to figure out a better way to fill their reservoirs for easier maintenance before I plant back out in them. I have an idea, so we should be doing that soon. So you can see we pruned off a whole lot of the Mad Hatters and harvested a whole bunch of those. I'm thinking about food processing them up and making them into like a chili paste. I did not pull any of my sweet bells because they will last on the plants, I find, in the hydroponic system for a while. So I just come out and harvest them as we need them during the week for like fresh eating or for whatever recipe I'm making that day. And now here we are with our fresh haircut. Cut back a whole lot of the Mad Hatters. We've already harvested a ton. I did not cut back any of what hasn't produced over there in that first bucket because they're just now starting to set flowers. And I did not cut back any of my sweet peppers because I have found in the past that if you cut back too much foliage with the amount of heat and sun that we get here, your peppers are a lot more likely to blister and sunburn. So I will just come out and get these as I need them. And hopefully this week, I know I'm cooking sausage and peppers, so that'll use up a good bit of this sweet bell peppers, and hopefully we will continue to get more fruit. And then over here, I'm thinking about starting a cotton ball seed challenge. I grew broccoli from seed. I started in a cotton ball in this system last year, 2 full head with no issues. So I am thinking about maybe trying that route here, a pepper or some sort. I'm not sure yet 100% what I want these to be for fall. I definitely want some fall peppers in here. And as far as my fellas in the back here, the pepperoncini and the serrano, if they don't start producing well, I'm going to yank them up for sure and have an extra free bucket back there. My serranos normally grow great in the ground. I was hoping they were going to be prolific and take off in the hydroponic system, but that just hasn't been the case for me yet. And the pepperoncinis, as I've mentioned in other videos, they haven't grown well for me anywhere. So maybe user error, maybe just my growing conditions they don't like, I'm not sure. But they haven't done well hydroponically in buckets or in my raised beds. So that's where we are right now. And in a couple of days, we'll be out here trimming again, making some decisions and seed starting. So just to give you a little bit more information about my hydroponic setup, I do not follow the rules when it comes to hydroponics, and I've still been very successful. I know in the beginning when I was getting started, I was really nervous about messing it up. So if you're on the fence about starting a hydroponic system, especially like mine outside uncovered where the rain and everything gets to it, I'm just here to tell you don't be. I was even weighing out all of my nutrients with a food scale, and then that up and broke on me before we went on vacation. So then I had to just start measuring out with tablespoons. And that's what I've been doing since I've been back for well over a month, practically going on 2 months at this point, and everything's still growing great. So the system is a lot hardier than what it seems, and the plants still grow amazingly well. So if you're on the fence about doing hydroponics, I say jump in. It's not nearly as complicated or as scary as I once believed it to be. So I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me today. And until next time, stay blessed.